Good afternoon and welcome to SM Live, Friday live stream. So good to have you all with us again. I'm Chris Stott, SalesMaster MD, so good to be with you again. I've got a great show hopefully this afternoon for you. Howard's going to join me. We've got to managing sales statuses, under negotiation, everything for omni-channel retailing really. So we're going to discuss how you can use this and demonstrate live as always on the program. So Howard is with me. Howard, I'll go over to you.
Excellent. Good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon Chris. Yeah, looking forward to today's show.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully we've got a few of you with us from last week, and any new viewers, good to see you. These SalesMaster live streams are available to watch on the channel, but obviously it's always really good if we can have you joining in real time with us and joining in. Always remember you can ask questions and put the comments in the chat. So we've got Annette moderating as always, so Annette will be putting the chat up. So just drop us a comment when you can, and we'll put the question on the screen, and we'll talk through that. So Howard, how's your week been?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been busy as always, but yeah, we've been doing some really productive parts of the business with the integrations and our partners again, and obviously with our StockBook users and so forth. So a really good lead into what we're going to be showing this afternoon around keeping that stock in real time. Putting the vehicle under negotiation, or of course marking the vehicle as sold. So yeah, really good opportunity to show everyone that this afternoon as well.
Fantastic. I think certainly in the some of the discussions I've joined the team in this week, I think it's even more of a push now, as there's we're all hopeful that the retailers are going to be able to be on track for reopening. Obviously don't know when that's going to be exactly, but it's if it's not in March at some point, then it's definitely going to feels like it's going to be in April. So even more important, I suppose, to have this omni-channel sales statuses covered. So if you are selling vehicles online through click and collect or remotely over the telephone and email inquiries and things, as customers start to re-engage and come back into the business, it's going to be vital to keep those sales in sync. So it's been encouraging to hear a lot of discussion about that. So quite timely in terms of some of the stuff we're going to show today.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, if I'll just cut back to full screen for a sec for you to share your screen, and then I think we'll dive straight in. If we perhaps have a look at those real-time sales statuses. I know one of the key areas on SalesMaster that some of you will be familiar with if you've used the system is under negotiation. That's quite a unique piece of functionality for SalesMaster. So it'd be good perhaps to kick off with that. So over to you, Howard.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so as always, I'm going to log into the demo environment, which we use for absolutely this. For our live streams now and for our demos out to potential new clients. So really good chance to show you some of the sales status changes. So we're not going to focus too much, obviously, on the search functions of this. So we're just drilling down to a vehicle that we find reasonably quickly. So I'm going to select the Ford vehicles this week, and I'm going to look for a Cougar. So as always, I'm just drilling down into the data. So as I do that, as I add a token, it just removes the vehicles that don't fit that criteria. So I'm going to minus the sold vehicles as well. And then I'm going to look for a certain color. So I'm just going to select the red ones. So I'm going to get quickly from that sort of 20,000 plus down to 7 vehicles reasonably quickly. So you can see here, I've got all the vehicles that fall into that criteria. So I'm going to select the new one at the bottom here, as you can see. And when I click on that vehicle, it gives me a bigger overview of just that single vehicle. So you can see the main page in the background on the view, but here I'm just specifically looking at one specific vehicle in here as well. So what you'll notice at the top here, these are, I will say just quickly, actually, these are very much configured to your own individual account. So there may be some of our current clients that are looking at this and saying, I don't have all of that. This is obviously the demo environment, so I've got a few more bits added into it. So yeah, if where we use them in different areas of the business. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at the sales status of the vehicle. So you'll see that up the top here. Now, again, when I click on that, you can see that I've got 5 options that I can choose from. This is based on access level, again, to what you have when you log into the system. So, I may just have the availability to put a vehicle under available, or of course, what we're going to look at first, the under negotiation. So if I'm talking to a customer, or I've had an inquiry come in on this, and I found this specific vehicle for the customer, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I kind of secure that vehicle for me and for that customer. So I'm going to mark that under negotiation, and that will put a little padlock onto that vehicle. So you can see here it won't be unlocked. It's locked over updates, and has put that vehicle straight under negotiation for me. And now if I return back to the main screen, you'll see now that vehicle is highlighted that it's under negotiation. Okay, so anyone else in the system will see that vehicle is under negotiation right now. Okay, now if I click into that vehicle and I want to see anything on there, we do have this little tab here that's called activity. And if I click on the activity, it will show the details of the individual that put it under negotiation. So you can see myself from South Cars, obviously just a made up account, less than a minute ago, moved that vehicle from being available to under negotiation. So that's starting the ticking clock on that as well, to where how long that's been under negotiation for and what time. So you can set time periods and time frames of vehicles that are under negotiation. Yeah, under negotiation. So you can see here that if we can set the time based on your configuration of your account. So it could be 2 hours, or it could be longer or shorter. Whatever the process works best for your business. So in this case, they're 2 hours. So after 2 hours, that vehicle will trip back and become available. So I don't need to go back in and unlock it, although I can. It will just automatically trip itself back to being available when after that time period has passed. Now, what we can do on the main screen, so I've had that vehicle under negotiation. I've just removed it now. But what I can do here is if I take out all of my headers, and I just search for vehicles that are under negotiation, you can see here we've got 152 cars that are now under negotiation, and that's great. That view can be saved absolutely as it is. The view can be saved and recorded on a regular basis. So as often as you want to see what vehicles are under negotiation, but what it's doing is it's very much giving me specifics about the vehicle with the headers. But not a lot about who put it under negotiation and when. Now that information is available in Column Chooser. So if I jump into Column Chooser now, I can actually search for any under negotiation headers. So you can see here when I've just started typing in negotiation, you can see it's highlighting them for me. So I can bring in that header of last under negotiation by, or I could bring in last under negotiation by site. Like so, and I think it last under negotiation itself as well, which is a timestamp. So now what you will see on the view of the data is actually where the vehicle belonged to, where the vehicle, the person that put it under negotiation is based. So who did it? Who was the individual that did put it under negotiation, and then when that was done. So what I can do from there is I can actually save that as a view and just pin that as a tab, as we've done in previous live sessions. So you can see here now, if I just want to recall that, And as the data's always moving and individuals will be putting vehicles under negotiation throughout the day, you can see here that will just recall that every time I want to see what's being put under negotiation and in what period and by who.
That's true.
You can do... Yeah, sorry, Chris.
No, I was just going to say, we've had a question come in actually from Jamie about, so we've got to just put it on the screen. Take me off. How long does a vehicle stay under negotiation for?
Yes, so as I mentioned, that's a configuration on the account. So that can be sorted by the brand within the account, or it can be configured across the entire account itself. We tend to find within the retailers that are using SalesMaster and StockBook that it's around 2 hour period. Some are a little bit different, but that can be configured and changed as required.
Right.
So, if the business starts with 90 minutes, but then says, actually, we need another half an hour on that, it can be changed to whatever is required for the business.
Cool.
Thanks, Jamie. So yeah, I can save that as a view. Of course, there is an opportunity to do a bit of grouping on this. So where we looked at the pivot tables recently. So if I wanted to see all the vehicles that were under negotiation, actually, I just spotted that there. Last negotiated by site. There you go. So you can see here. There's all the vehicles in more of an overview of those vehicles that are under negotiation. So that can be saved in that way as well. What you can also do, rather than just looking at vehicles that are under negotiation at this point in time, within Search Builder, you have the ability to look at under negotiation within a time period. So, a real key feature here is you could look for a date range. So you could say, actually, show me everything that went under negotiation between a certain period, or you could select is, and you've got a lot of options in the drop down. So show me everything that went under negotiation today, is obviously quite a good one. But I always like the this week, like so. So show me all the vehicles that went under negotiation this week. So there you go. You can see there's 221 vehicles that have gone under negotiation at some point this week. And you can see, obviously, the ones that are under negotiation right now or change sales status now. But you can see here, everything that's under negotiation.
So that becomes like a standard report for you to, for sales managers or sales controllers, just to keep an eye on what's happening across either the site, the group, or division in real time. Yeah. So that's giving me a long list. So you'd imagine with an account that was using SalesMaster from from a stock perspective, they would have lots of vehicles, probably more than 221 that are going under negotiation throughout a week, depending on obviously the size. But you can obviously recall that as a list view like that, or you can recall that actually just see it by site. You can even do it by model. In that as well, so you can select model name and say, actually, show me all the vehicles that went under negotiation this week, but just show me them by models. This is quite different to I suppose in a dealer management system or in a factory system. This status doesn't really exist, does it? I mean, I know there's a reservation status that's usually hooked up to say a DMS, but that's often triggered by like a deposit or something at that stage. So this is quite free flowing and fast, with lots of under negotiations happening throughout the day, isn't it? So it's quite a unique position to be able to record that kind of in negotiation status.
Yeah, it just stops obviously the double selling.
Yeah.
If somebody's got it under negotiation, then they've got the car for that period of time.
Yeah.
A question that probably hasn't come forward, but you can actually limit the volume that can go under negotiation as well. So, if you only wanted your team to be able to put a certain amount under negotiation in any one period of time, you can do that. So you can set those rules in the background. So if we look back at the vehicles that are under negotiation right now, I can obviously sort that by, so you can see Annette there has been quite busy today.
Whilst moderating, also selling cars.
Also selling cars, yeah. I do appear in there at some point, but yeah, you can see here. If this was live, you may question actually. As an audit view, that you're selling a lot of cars, or you're talking to customers about a lot of vehicles right now.
Yeah, and that I suppose that control and audit visibility is really powerful in terms of we all know that there are going to be certain stock vehicles that are more popular than others. But actually, if everyone's following this process and these rules that have been defined by the business, it will be really effective for everybody, because it's and it is under negotiation. So you could always contact the user that's put it under negotiation, if it was somebody within your group and business, and just establish between you how close that deal is to concluding.
Yeah, definitely. You find it really works as the status of becoming SalesMasters are master inventory of our stock. So if somebody's got it under negotiation, then it's their vehicle. And plus, as I showed a few minutes ago, you can actually see when and who did that. So there isn't you've always got that audit trail of that vehicle. Yeah, no,
that which is a big difference to a spreadsheet. You don't have that kind of visibility and tracking on there. So,
no.
Annette has Annette's put moderating her own comments now, saying Annette is everywhere. So good to hear. Thanks, Annette.
Excellent. So she's been busy putting vehicles under negotiation. Well, we're now going to move to sold vehicles. So let's see how well she's done this week on actually selling the vehicle.
Before we do that, let's just cut back. I'll come off the screen for a second and just if you go back to your main camera, because I think that was one of the meetings that I joined and attended, where we were looking at, whilst that's obviously within SalesMaster, being able to track under negotiation in ultimately, I suppose, in the showroom or by a user on SalesMaster. There was some quite interesting discussion about how it could be hooked up to an online partner. So how transacting online, which obviously is a big part of how cars are being sold at the moment. There could be a status change that's engaged when somebody gets to a certain part of that e-commerce transaction, which could ultimately write those statuses back into SalesMaster.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously having conversations about lots of our dealer groups, listing their vehicles online and allowing a consumer to reserve a vehicle by paying a deposit. Back and forth from SalesMaster would be absolutely key for that.
And I guess there's complexities within that and rules because of the kind of under negotiation timings and how things are configured across the platform. But I know the product team were doing some quite exciting planning around how that could progress and with some of those key integrations. So it's good. Whilst we've not got a kind of a demonstration of that kind of end-to-end tightly coupled solution to the website in this position, you can understand how that would work using some of this functionality we're showing you in the inventory side on StockBook. So definitely something to watch this space on as it progresses, and as the dealerships start to reopen. As I say, it's going to be crucial to keep the two in sync.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well let's go back onto so we're going to go on to sold vehicles now.
Let's sell the vehicles.
Yeah, cool. Go for it
as well. Very similar concept to how we change, or exactly the same as how we change the sales status from under negotiation or available.
Yeah.
We have the ability to mark a vehicle as sold. I don't need to show too much of how that works because you simply update it by clicking on it. Again, that's normally access driven. So having access to be able to perform that action of marking a vehicle as sold. Because when you do mark a vehicle as sold, it does a number of actions from there. Sold vehicle will then not appear on the next API or transfer to our integrated partners.
Yeah.
So the vehicle can be removed on there as well. But we also do a number of tricks within inside the system. So I think I based myself a demo account which was South Cars.
Yeah.
Now this vehicle here belongs to Milton Keynes Cars. So I'm selling a vehicle that belongs to another site. So when I mark that vehicle as sold, it will automatically send an email alert to the administrator and managers at Milton Keynes Cars and tell them Howard from South Cars has sold that vehicle. So we can configure them for the teams as well.
So again, there's a kind of paper trail behind the scenes just to keep everyone up to speed. Obviously, they're going to see it real time in the system, but as that prompt, it's going to hit their inbox with a notification that's occurred.
Absolutely, yeah,
nice.
Yeah, and then everyone's aware. But yeah, of course, it's recorded in here. But yeah, it just keeps everyone updated instantly with that information as well. So yeah, really good key feature for us. So looking at sold vehicles now, so again, I can just say, actually show me all the vehicles that have been sold. So we've got over 7,000 vehicles that are sold in this view of the data.
Yeah.
But what you can do in Search Builder is you can actually choose, again, very similar how we did the under negotiation today. Or under negotiation, this week.
Yeah.
You can actually say, show me all the vehicles that have been sold today. So again, as soon as I select that, that's just now showing me the 80 vehicles that have been updated and marked sold today. And again, I would want to change my headers, so I'm going to take out the under negotiation ones because they're not as relevant now. But I can bring in any of the sold availability. So I could bring in date sold if I wanted to, and I could just drop that in my list again. But what I'm probably more interested in is actually who sold the vehicle. So who marked the vehicle as sold, and where was the site that the vehicle was sold from. So as you can see there, you've got, I'm just going to take out mileage actually, because we don't really need that in there, and it just makes it. Oh, sorry guys. Go. I'm back. Sorry about that. But everyone can see the screen.
Yeah,
so I think they're probably more interested in seeing the screen than me. But anyway, I'm here. So you can see that, you can now see that the vehicle of where the vehicle belonged to, who sold that vehicle. Bit interesting there because an Audi dealer sold a Renault car. Anyway, it's just where the person's based. And the date it was sold, and obviously by who as well. So there you go. Simon's probably taking the lead over Annette, but I reckon if I sort that ascending, there she is.
Can you do that? You can presumably do that in a bit of a league table style view anyway, can't you? As grouping on that?
Yes, you can. You can group on that as well. So within here, you can do sold by. So you can actually pivot that as well.
Got it.
Look at that.
So who's leading the way? It is Simon.
Simon's been extremely busy today. So you can see there. So and of course, you can capture that information. What we tend to find is that most will create the view of the data, and they'll rather than looking by individual, because don't forget the sales exec may have put that vehicle under negotiation and sold it.
Yeah.
But the manager or the administrator has marked that vehicle as sold. So what you may want to look at, rather than where the vehicle was based as a pivot table, you might want to say, actually show me by sold by site. So and then group it. So there you go.
Okay, yeah,
that's giving you that's a really powerful way of looking at the data to actually see which site is selling the most vehicles.
Yeah, and it also shows
even
that
if they're cross-selling.
Yeah, it's just that kind of cross selling across sites, because again, that we come up against it every time and again before putting SalesMaster into a business, in that without that kind of cross site visibility of stock and pipeline, tends to be that people are selling what's physical, like in their site or on their own pipeline report, but actually there's probably a car that's equivalent or suitable that's in a neighbouring dealer within the group. So critical to be able to report and show that.
Yeah, absolutely. Having the vehicles shared across everyone in one pool of stock, whether it be new, used, demo, courtesy, so on, all in one place, the status is being managed within SalesMaster. Well, yes, it can affect what happens with your integrated partners, but it's also really what's affecting everyone on the ground. And keeping everything in sync. As we mentioned.
Annette reckons she's busy moderating. That's obviously why Simon's winning. So.
Okay. Yeah, I knew Simon would sell the most.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can save that. So we can say, right, sold today. I'm just going to put my initials on the end. I could share that with everyone.
Yeah.
Or I could just simply save that for myself. And when I do that, I can obviously pin that as a tab. So every time I'm on the computer or on SalesMaster, I click on that and see, how are we doing? How are we doing today? But what you really want to know is actually, what did we do today? So at the end of the day, I want to see this report. So what you can get the system to do is you actually get it to schedule an email. As we've looked at in previous live streams, you can ask the system to email you that data. So if we go for that and say, I would probably choose every single day or across them all at even a Sunday at 7 o'clock at night. I want to start that today, and I want it in a PDF format. And I can simply just press save, and that will email me every night at 7 o'clock and show me what was sold today by site.
Brilliant.
So yeah, super powerful.
Yeah, I think that's and these sessions just to show some of these, and I think what we'll do is we'll share elements of these live streams as well as separate videos. So again, just going back to full screen camera for a second. When we're kind of delivering the software in a business, some of these tips on how to get the most out of it, not just the searching functionality, which is pretty intuitive. It's most people can do that without the training, but these kind of key functions of creating save views, generating auto scheduling emails, it can make a massive difference, can it, to those to the roles? So
yeah, definitely. Well, when I show that some of the reporting and these kind of elements, when the guys have started to use the functionality in SalesMaster from the exec's perspective, all the reporting that then comes out the back end of that is what's super powerful.
Definitely.
Because you get everything you want.
Yeah, no. So I mean, as we said before, any questions, please fire them into us. If you're not watching this live, then drop us an email to the join in address, which we'll put up shortly. But we'd rather have that kind of real time involvement. So again, if you want us to put these kind of sessions on at a different time, just let us know. We've got several people watching right now, so if you haven't done already, please subscribe to the channel so we can keep in touch with you, and give us a like as well, because that's the more of that the better. And we're keen to keep shaping this content for you, and as I say, creating some other more how-to videos that we can share with you and your team. So okay, good. Well, let's go back to have a look at some other stuff. So if I just cut back to you, Howard, and your screen.
Yeah. Okay. So we would. Have you got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you're on the screen. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. You can see me this time. So yeah, we can create a number of reports within that data as well, and pulling that across with the sold alerts and emails that come across on there. So yeah, and capturing obviously under negotiation and keeping that all in sync. So yeah, there wasn't huge more for what was I going to look at?
We've looked at the audit and the activity feed, haven't we, to cover some of those functions within the system?
Yes. So yeah, just to building the bits on top. I was just going to look at some, as you mentioned earlier, around the integrated partners, and whether or not that has another step.
Yeah.
So what you'll notice when I start to type here, we've got the sold status, which obviously, as I said, we can bring in, but we've got this other one that's sold awaiting processing. So this is something that the guys have been working on, where actually that would be the trigger. So it could sit in a work queue then for the teams within the sites to then be able to update and manage from moving to the next stage.
Got it.
So yeah, over to the vehicle.
I think that's it's a nice link actually to one of our next future shows, isn't it, about the kind of stock sharing process, because I think that's where we build more. So whether it be for like an OEM manufacturer program or another data sharing concept across other accounts, to have that filter to be able to create a workflow of awaiting processing orders, we can cover that in another episode.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can so you can bring in all the headers available for sold, and any status changes within the vehicles are captured. So I think we even, last bit from my perspective is the last updated.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, and last, you can bring that in as a header, and who is updated by, and by name and so forth. So
brilliant.
Yeah, all of this traceability, and as you mentioned, that you don't get on a spreadsheet or a Google Doc.
Yeah.
Is available in SalesMaster as things happen.
Very good. Thank you very much, mate. That was another informative session. So thank you. So for those of you that, as I say, that haven't already, give us a subscribe and a like. We've about finished for today's show, so just over half an hour. It's been great as always, Howard. So thank you again.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
And I think we're probably gonna change the day. We'll try a different slot. So we're not gonna we've done, this is our fourth Friday, but we're gonna probably have next week off. Not actually off. We will still be working, but we will be probably taking a bit of time off at half term, and taking the live stream off. So we'll let you know via the channel and on LinkedIn and the usual channels when the next episode is going to be. But it will be coming up soon. So please get in touch and let us know what you'd like to see. So yeah, thanks very much. We had some closing comments. So Jamie, thanks again, gents. So that's good. Another one. Thank you guys. Very informative. And sorry, it's Howard, your head of sales from Carrie Fox. Very good. So no, that's
excellent. There you go.
But no, thanks again, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay safe as always, and look forward to seeing you again next time.